there, Cam here from Training Talk. Welcome to this week's episode of Endurance Coaching Business, coming to you not quite from Hawaii anymore, where I was last week when I recorded the last episode. I flew back home yesterday, arrived home yesterday afternoon, and then this morning drove down to the Hawke's Bay to spend some time with some family here. So been busy, lots of traveling. Anyway, I was in Hawaii for the Ironman World Championships, which we go to whenever we can. So I was there by myself this year, spending time with a client, actually, Mickey Willardin, nutritionist. She used the Training Talk platform to deliver her meal plans and health programs to her clients. So we spent a bit of time together watching the race, doing a bit of work, just talking about business, which was great. Anyway, while I was there, watched the race. I think a very exciting race to watch, but many of the pros had quite, from their perspective, I would say quite disappointing results. And I think it's something that is common across age groupers as well, that they can go to that race and either have a standout great race or have a terrible race. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about some tips or strategies around coaching athletes through disappointing results, which all athletes inevitably go through. So before I do that, just want to cover off what Training Talk does. So I'm the founder of Training Talk. Training Talk's an all-in-one endurance coaching platform that helps coaches get better results for their clients, but also their businesses. We're the only platform that really focuses only on coaching businesses. We don't sell anything to athletes, so there's no conflict of interest there. And we also are the only one, we also offer the most branding and customization tools of any of the other platforms. So why use a generic platform where your athletes have when they're in there, they think they're in some random generic coaching platform when they could be in a platform that is uniquely yours to your coaching business, fully branded for your color scheme and logo. And as I said, we don't go and then try and sell training plans, or we don't put other coaches in front of the athletes because we don't sell anything to athletes directly. So if you want a fully branded, customized endurance coaching platform that you want to make your own, and be really unique and different to all of the other coaches out there to stand out from the crowd, then Training Talk might be a good option. Get in touch if you're interested. So anyway, coaching through disappointing results. So a lot of you very experienced coaches out there will have experience doing this. You'll have your own strategies, but this may introduce something that you haven't tried before, or if you're a new coach and you haven't experienced that this much, then hopefully this is helpful. So like I was saying, I spent the last days in Hawaii, and fun work trip, but for many age groupers, this is not such a fun trip, although it can be if they approach it in a certain way, but it could be the pinnacle of their triathlon journey. They could be building up to it for weeks or even years. And as a coach, you've been working with your athletes as well, so it's been a big commitment to you as well. So for everyone who achieves a personal best, there's probably an equal amount of people who are don't quite reach their goals or have a very disappointing result. So coaches play a dual role in both preparing athletes for the important races and guiding them through the emotional roller coaster afterwards as well. So regardless of the outcome, it can seem counterintuitive, but a post-race period, especially for like an A race, is a prime time for coaching. So this is crucial not just for the well-being of your athletes, but also for ensuring that you maintain like a positive and supportive environment that encourages the athlete to continue working with you as a coach. So to do this, you need to build strong relationships, provide meaningful support, and you really want to make sure that your athletes see the value of coaching even through this difficult time that might be discouraging for them. So a coach can really make the difference between an athlete, say, quitting the sport or regrouping, learning from the disappointing and moving forward, which is, of course, going to be beneficial for the athlete experience, but also for the coach in your business. So coaches can help athletes reframe these setbacks as opportunities and turn a discouraging experience into like a key moment for the continuity of the coach and athlete experience. So I'm just going to talk through a few of these things that you can work through. Maybe you can put a bit of structure to it. You might be working through these things already, but maybe putting a bit of structure to it might help you missing things out. So going back in time, managing expectations early is a really important thing for a coach to do. So athletes don't necessarily have a good grasp on what their abilities are, especially if they're newish to the sport. So this can start long before race day. So as a coach, you can often sense when an athlete has goals that might be a bit higher than what they would be capable of in a certain time period. So as a coach, it's a crucial role to temper ambition with realistic performance forecasting. So having open conversations, so regular check-ins where you talk openly about goals, outcomes, and their current performance and relate that to their future performance where they can realistically get to. Remind them A races, especially at the championship level, like the Ironman World Champs, can be unpredictable. So discuss the race build-up factors like weather, travel, fatigue, unexpected illness, and how those can influence their results. Frame goals with success parameters. So it doesn't need to be like binary where there's either success or failure. So what defines success for an individual athlete? So encourage maybe say 3 levels of success. One is the ultimate goal. Example, a podium finish, personal best. A second type of goal can be a strong, realistic outcome, e.g., timing, finishing the bike in a certain time, finishing, and then the third type of goal can be like a completion goal, or maybe even a less tangible goal like finishing strong or finishing free of injury. So having these different types of goals gives athletes a little bit of flexibility to feel good about their performance, regardless of this binary success fail if they don't meet their time goal or their position goal. If they don't win their age group or make the podium on the age group, they can still pull out successes from that. And then also pre-planning for potential setbacks. So help athletes create a plan for how they will handle things that might go wrong during the build-up and also the race itself. So discuss potential scenarios like weather changes, mechanical issues, energy crashes, issues with nutrition, if they lose their nutrition, and also develop strategies for what to do when these happen, when these challenges come up. So knowing that they have a plan in place for this sort of stuff can actually reduce anxiety, keep them focused during the race, and actually lead to better results as well. So that's pre-race, post-race, offering a supportive post-race space and planning this out as well. So the post-race experience can bring up emotions depending on how the race has gone, if they've had a disappointing result especially. So some athletes will try and process things straight away as soon as they come across the finish line. I mean, if you've been at a big finish line before, you've heard all of the people doing a post-race analysis immediately after they come across the finish line. And that is a great experience because it creates these bonds with athletes as well, but it can also be a mistake if they're over-analyzing things too early. So if they have a bit of a plan around that, that can help. So schedule a post-race debrief, so within a few days of the race, so they don't forget what happened. But also let the athlete know that you're available when they're ready to talk, if they want to talk earlier or put it off a little bit. And this should helpfully, if they know they have this planned, then that might alleviate the pressure to try and overanalyze too early. And during these post-race sessions, it's important to ask open-ended open-ended questions rather than immediately offering your own conclusions or judgments about the race. You want to nudge them with these open-ended questions. So this encourages introspection, really, and helps the athlete articulate their feelings and thoughts. So questions like, if something comes up about a part of the race, what do you think contributed to that outcome? Or what could you have done differently during that part of the race? Even if they, if they drop their nutrition, so they're blaming their result that they didn't have the nutrition that they wanted. So if you ask them, what could you have done differently? Or they could have stopped and maybe spun around and got their nutrition. It would have taken like a minute or 2 minutes, but could have saved them 20 minutes or an hour if things went really bad because of their nutrition. Or why did you drop your nutrition? Did you not have a rubber band over your bottle? So you see so many cyclists in a triathlon. Their water bottles come flying off their water cages if they go over a bump. Every single race, there's people who do that. So these things do alleviate those things. So learning experiences as well. So open-ended questions, and then hopefully this will allow the athlete to draw conclusions for themselves about what really went wrong, what mistakes they made, not just blaming it on this thing or that thing, but really being a bit introspective and coming to this conclusion on their own, which is much more valuable than you telling them something and them maybe not agreeing with you because they haven't had that introspection to come to that conclusion on their own. So it's also important to help athletes process disappointment constructively. So this can be challenging for both the athlete and the coach. So supportive responses can help athletes process their feelings while laying the groundwork for future resilience. So acknowledge the emotions, avoid jumping to solutions. So instead, let the athletes know that it's okay to feel disappointed. It's normal. It just shows how much you care about the goal. And then shift the focus to growth. So use that experience to foster a growth mindset. What can you learn from the experience and then grow next time? The biggest growth always comes from disappointments and challenges. But then also frame some positive things. So what's one thing you're proud of during the race? What's one thing that you learned that you can make yourself stronger for next time? And then again, encouraging reflection for long-term growth. So one of the most valuable activities after a race is this reflection. So again, guiding them with open-ended questions like what went well, what would you like to carry on to further races, and then if it's a bigger race, like an A race, like the Ironman World Champs, what's driving you to keep challenging yourself? So further motivation for them to move forward. They might have had a really disappointing result, but they should still have that drive. And then also document those lessons. So have them all written down so they can read them later and before their next big races, so they don't forget those learnings. It's a really valuable thing as well. And as a coach, you can document those in your own systems as well. Training Tool has a great note system where you can document all of those things for individual athletes for a race. Celebrating wins, we all know this. Doesn't matter how disappointing the result is, there's always something positive to get for it. Focus on effort, not just outcome. So if the effort was right, but they didn't get the outcome that they required, that's a really good win. Acknowledge the sacrifices, the early mornings, the hard sessions, etc., and their commitment. So they're finding those small wins. And then finally, after going through all of those things, set a path forward. So the last thing you want to do is leave the athlete to their own devices where they can get inside their own head. They might think about quitting if they don't have enough support. And that's bad for the athlete, but it's also bad for your coaching business to lose an athlete. So setting a path forward, creating a recovery plan. So I'm not going to go into that much detail about that. You coaches know exactly how to run recovery plans to avoid burnout and let them recharge. So quite often if an athlete has a great race or if they have a terrible race, then they want to start training straight away. they have a great race, then they want to build momentum for the next race. If they have a terrible race, they want to redeem themselves. So it's easy for them to get into training too early. So it's important to manage their enthusiasm around that. And then setting a new goal as well. Maybe leave that a little while before you set the new goal, depending on how disappointed they are with their race. But whether that's another race, a fun event maybe to get their confidence back, or a new training challenge. So if they've had a disappointing result, they might have lost a bit of confidence. So something fun and a little bit easier is a great way to get their confidence back. So final thoughts. Coaching goes beyond training plans. We all know that. It's about guiding athletes through every part of their journey. So from setting their initial goals to celebrating their wins, and in this case, dealing with their setbacks. So by being that steady presence through the highs and lows, coaches not only help their athletes grow stronger and develop a lasting passion for endurance sports, but also build strong relationships that are crucial for retaining clients in your business. So supporting athletes through every session, every finish line, and whether they earn a medal or a podium or a personal best or a valuable lesson from a disappointing result. So this just helps ensure they see the value in your coaching and stay committed and stay a client for the long term. Anyway, thanks again for listening. If you're interested in Training Talk, you can head to trainingtalk.com, or there'll be something around here. Click a link to go to somewhere, and you can book a demo if you're interested in our branded coaching platform. On our higher tier plans, you can actually also get a mobile app of your own that we build the icons, the splash screens for you, and store that in the app stores. And that's a very unique thing in the industry. So if you're looking for that, let me know. I'd love to show you around our demo. But if not, I will talk to you again soon, and good luck with the coaching.